Hello and welcome once again to the Battle for Azeroth Alpha. This time I'm playing my good old Demon Hunter. This is the class that I've mained throughout all of Legion until the point that I recently quit and got Alpha and decided to play that instead. For all your viewing pleasures, hopefully. Anyway, Demon Hunter. Do you play Havoc? Do you enjoy Havoc? It's a bit of a controversial spec in the past. Well, the past being all of one expansion. Because, in my opinion, it's been a bit simple. For example, have you ever felt like this? Or this? While pressing Chaos Strike? I'm sure you might have, or at least thought that way. But, point is, Havoc is actually good now, and it's not a one-button spec. It's, I'm exaggerating, by the way, come on. Yeah, but it's great, actually. The changes they've made to Havoc for BFA are amazing, honestly. It's been a really good class to play. I've leveled through all of Zul'Dar so far, so it's not like I've got barely any experience playing this. I've got 3 levels worth, so I can make a pretty decent conclusion that this is a better spec than Legion, which can't be said for all of them. So going into the talent system, you'll notice that there's quite a few things here that are different straight away. 2 key things to note are you've got more versatility in cooldowns and AoE and stuff, and also momentum is a very, very, very viable playstyle. For those of you who don't remember momentum, there's a Legion Alpha video on my channel somewhere with a clickbait title. That's basically showed you how to play momentum back in the day, but it fell out of favour around Trial of Valor, and now it's back for Battle for Azeroth. It does 5% less damage, but the duration is 6 seconds instead of 4. And the old prepared talent has kind of been baked into it as long as you hit a single target, reduces the cooldown and generates 100 Fury. I'm not going to show this off because although some people loved it, I was not one of those people. I will say though that one downside to it is the Fell Mastery talent no longer generates Fury on a Fell Rush, so you've just got to keep that in mind. Because of the lack of Antaurus tier with the I-Beam spec, Blind Fury isn't exactly amazing anymore. Speaking of I-Beam as well, okay, so in Antaurus, every time you consume a Soul Fragment, which is why you run Demonic Appetite, because of your artifact talents, you take 5 seconds off the cooldown of I-Beam and Chaos Nova. Artifacts are gone. Okay, this is really important to remember. Artifacts are gone, so any perks that came with that sort of system, donezo. Some of it has been baked in, like Chaos Nova for example. It's no longer a stun, it's a disorientate, but you've got to bear in mind that it has 50% chance to generate a lesser soul fragment, so that artifact trait has been baked in. So there's a couple of things like that, but the more notable ones outside of generic damage buffs, such as your maximum fury going up by 40 or more, depending on relic traits, flare giving movement speed, stuff like that, it's all gone, as well as all your golden dragon traits. But enough of that. Back to the talent tree as is. I prefer Fellblade simply because it's more reliable to use, it scales with haste, it generates 50 fury, and it's another button to press on a proc, and it procs pretty decently. Immolation Aura. This is where it starts getting a bit interesting. Immolation Aura? Are you sure you're playing Havoc? Yes, I am sure. And it's got a quite long cooldown compared to the Vengeance counterpart, but it generates 80 fury over 10 seconds, and it's affected by haste. And the damage it does, 492, sounds tiny. Don't worry, number squish. This actually does really legit AoE damage. It's really decent. You could go for the Insatiable Hunger talent, which is basically the legendary ring. You could go for Demon Blades. It's entirely up to you. But I like having more buttons to press, and like I said, this actually does pretty reasonable AoE damage. And for a build that I'm going to show off, it's actually pretty important, I feel. Anyway, Trail of Ruin. This one I'm using at the moment just to show it off. I'll come back to other stuff later, but yeah, the final slash of Blade Dance inflicts some chaos damage over 4 seconds, and yes, this does affect everything. So if I just walk away like that, you can see the debuffs on there, Trail of Ruin, and it's ticking away, and it can crit. So that's if you've got really constant cleave in a fight, such as ENR or something. You know, something where it's like really constant, you don't need to bear something down, but it's constant. Trail of Ruin would be a good choice there. Soul Rending, Desperate Instincts and Netherwalk same as usual, just take Nether Walk unless you really, really need the leech for some reason. You get the passive 10% and an additional 10% while in meta. Also worth noting as well is that meta's leech has been nerfed a little bit. There's been a couple of nerfs across the board on a tiny little bit, but it's not too much to worry about. Okay, Cycle of Hatred. This is just a shitty version of the Legendary Shoulders. Metamorphosis is 4 minutes baseline, that's important to remember. So it always guarantees to line up with Nemesis, just like it did back in Nighthold and stuff. So, good change to that because it was baseline 5 minutes in the past. It's now 4 minutes. So if you are running Nemesis, this is going to throw your cooldown lineups completely out of whack. And quite frankly, it's just straight up shit. First Blood, I always looked like this back in the past, but the reason that both of these are just not even going to come close is because of Dark Slash. This is basically Colossus Smash for Demon Hunters. It's only on a 20-second cooldown. It does damage for free, but also increases the damage your Chaos Strike deals to them by 40% for 8 seconds. Now this is the reason I like Immolation Aura. You can pop Immolation Aura, and then Dark Slash, and then you constantly regenerate in Fury while Dark Slash debuff is running. And if you do it obviously with full Fury in the first place, you can get a really nice amount of Chaos Strikes into this Dark Slash window. And like I said, 20-second cooldown. What's not to love? That's a fucking brilliant talent. And guess what? Metamorphosis plus Dark Slash? Good times. Now this one's a bit strange. It's basically all utility. Do you want a slow? Go with Master of the Glaive. It doesn't give you another charge now, it's just a straight up slow, so make what you will of that. Unleash Power makes Chaos Nova a shorter cooldown and free. And Fell Eruption is the one that I suggest going for unless you need the AoE Disorientate all the time. It actually does damage, which makes it decent. The 100% increased damage against stun immune things has gone, but the duration is 4 seconds. You've got a legit 4-second stun now on single target that does damage. So this has saved my life a few times out in the world because my gear is absolute shite. But yeah, this take what you will in this row, but generally speaking you'll be going Fell Eruption or Unleash Power. Demonic is competing with Momentum and Nemesis. So leveling wise I've been using Demonic because the leech, the extra damage boosts, and the fact I can line it up with Dark Slash somewhat okay, makes it just decent. IBM being a 30-second cooldown means that I can't always line it up with Dark Slash, but you know, I can get it 1-for-1 most of the time if I just delay with the Dark Slash. And Nemesis, obviously, it's the same good old Nemesis. What's to say? You know, it's some people find it boring, but you can't deny the strength of it. So I'm just going to quickly go with Fell Barrage. So Fell Barrage has been tweaked as well. It's a 1-minute cooldown and it just does an absolute shit ton of damage. If you're on a pure single target fight and you're not running Momentum, you probably want to be taking Fell Barrage because you're never going to be using Blade Dance anyway, and you might as well take this, and it does a shit ton of damage, like I said. So if I go to the AoE back here and press it, like, it's only within 8 yards of yourself, and I've been trying to get used to this because every time I press this ability I'm expecting it to be a ranged attack like it is on live. But yeah, you've got to make sure you're near everything to be able to press it. So yeah, that's Demon Hunter. So if I was to go in, get my Fell Blade proc, so what I'm talking about with that combo now is I've got full Fury now, yeah? So what I want to do is I want to press Immolation Aura, I-Beam, Dark Slash, and then start doing this Dark Slash combo and not get any procs whatsoever. And there's the last K-Strike. So I got all them K-Strikes within an exact duration of a Demonic window from the I-Beam. It's really nice, it really is. And you can do that every 30 seconds if you're running Demonic, if you want to delay it, or every just 20 seconds if you're not, just constantly. Speaking of Chaos Strike, something that has been changed with it, it now has baseline 40% chance to refund 20 Fury. It's not based on crit anymore like it is on live, so if you ever ran less than 40% hit crit, you'll see this as a buff. If you was ever over 40% crit, this is a nerf. At the moment I've only got, what, 26, so for the moment it's working in my favour, but in endgame gear it's likely to change, but, you know, what can you do? It is what it is. Other things that have been changed, Consume Magic's been nerfed by 5-yard range. nothing major because you're mostly in melee anyway, but yeah, that's just the thing. And also, Throw Glaive and Blade Dance were previously 10-second cooldowns affected by haste. Now they are 9-second cooldowns affected by haste. Not sure what the logic behind changing that is, but I'm not complaining. It means you can use your abilities more often, which is something I have always loved. So yeah, that's the Demon Hunter. As you can see, Fell Blade, like I said, it procs pretty often. So let's get Maximum Fury, pop that Immolation Aura, Eye Beam, Dark Slash, and then start spamming in them K-Strikes. So I'm actually getting some procs now, look. And then my Fell Blade came off, so I can get right back in there. Get one more just before it fades, I think. So yeah, that's your general rotation. You use Immolation Aura to combo with that, or just in AoE situations like this, just let everything burn. And obviously you've got your Blade Dance for your standard AoE, you've got your Fell Barrage. If you was wanting to win min-max, you can like Fell Rush quickly through something, then Fell Rush again, because Fell Rush always does decent-ish damage, even if you're not expecting to it. So yeah, Demon Hunters, really happy with Havoc. I would suggest giving it a spin, if you've not got a Demon Hunter ready to go and out for 8.0 when it all changes. It might be worth getting one, because out of the specs I've tried so far, for melee, this one stands out. So thanks for watching, and goodbye.